Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to today's London to New York crossover with the Harmonic scanner. And nice to see you all. And if you are on the 7-day free trial, then make the most of going into the units and look at the live sessions schedule as well. So fitted in with work, you'll find something that you can join in. So I'll just start sharing screen. I did mark up a lot of pairs last night. So this is our Harmonic scanner group. If you do join and you're interested in pitchforks, this is specifically the scanner and pitchforks. So we have two main strategies. We have that, and then you'll come into our IM center where we have our academies and all the strategies, which are the products that we use. And the other main one that we use is Vibrata, which is the one we use for the Be Your Own Bank strategy created by Tasha Dyer, who's one of the top educators. So come down here on the left-hand menu to strategies, and here is the list of products. Harmonics and Vibrata is the add-on that we use. It is based on artificial intelligence, so it's looking left, it's looking back in history to read what the market's going to do, created by a very clever guy, Stephen Hooley, who does the bulk of the software programming for the products like that on in the IM Academy. So just briefly, if you look at your traders down here on the right-hand side on the Harmonic scanner, you can use any of them. It doesn't matter which broker you are with. We tend to start, or I do, with the Traders Way hourly strategy. And this is the one that Kathy Brown and I have just been discussing, which is Euro GBP. Because last week it was a shark, and shark has 2 entry points. So you can see it has worked its way down now, but we only enter a shark if it's second entry point or at least 50% of the way down to take profit 1. And that we couldn't work out last week whether the D point had moved or not. And here you can see it's just shy of the 80 pips. So not really a mistake. I mean, you could draw it if you want. It's just we try to, obviously you have to have rules. It's a bit like buying a house where you've got stamp duty. You know, there comes a threshold at which a new price or a new rule has to kick in. And our rule tends to be 80 pips minimum, simply because it's easier to work out on the risk to reward ratio of 2 to 1, 10 pip stop loss for a 20 pip gain per leg. So visually it's easier to read, that's all. But you can see this has worked its way down very nicely towards take profit 3. So no harm done if you have drawn that and you're trading off it. It's just that, as I say, we like to stick to rules. So we'll start to go and look at some pairs. So we start off by looking at Forex Factory. There's nothing on today. The dog's pawing at my leg for some reason. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't start whining out loud. So as we are in New York session, we'll start by looking. I'm not in this, I've just marked some things up. So that's Euro CAD. So it's US dollar and Canadian dollar for the New York session. So you can see I had marked it up off the pink pitchfork with that alert above. I'll just remove that now. And what has it done here? It's done a 1-minute break of a break and retest of the 1-minute trend, which if you look here on our trade sheet, with this strategy, we must have a pitchfork touch, that's mandatory, and then at least 2 confirmations. So quarter theory, the 62 EMA, the 1-minute trend break and retest, I've just spoken about, a channel touch, or an 88.6 or 61.8 fib. And then 2 of those and you're good to go. So let's just have a look at this one here. So it did a break and a retest there of 15 pips. It's now coming under quarter theory under 62. and you've had the break there, so it's now saying it's selling, even though the 62 EMA, which is our current 1 minute trend, is still above the 15-minute one. So that is still saying it's going up, but you can see it's breaking it. It's breaking it here. It is an upward scan, and it did go up to quarter theory up there, but it looks like it is coming back down to this area now, down here. Let's just see what we're a bit late to get in anyway. I mean, you know, you can do, but let me just take that one off and see what it says. Put a short position on because it gives you a good indication. So we wouldn't be able to cover our pitchfork as well, so we'd have too big a stop loss on this anyway. And then normally I just set it at the 20, but we're always looking to stretch our trades down to the next level. So in this case, it would be down to quarter theory in the pitchfork. But as I say, what I don't like about that is I like to have the 3 confirmations within this red box. And we've only got the quarter theory and 1 pitchfork if we had a huge, for us on this strategy, on the 1 minute chart. And in fact, I'm on the 15-minute chart. Sorry, my bad. Didn't check what time frame I was on. Just check it like this. Well, the same thing applies. It's not going to work for us anyway. It's a no-go in terms of a trade. So nothing doing on that at the moment. There's your break and retest. The 62 is coming down. If price pulls right back up to the quarter theory, then let it pull right back up. Then you're in a better position with it. That looks better. That looks better there. And let's just see what the fib says. So you go to the left-hand menu. It's from past to present, high to low. Let's see if that gives us a fib. High to low. Not really. That doesn't do anything for us either on that one. Well, it does there. But there it's saying it's hit take profit 2, because when we put a fib on, the 0 line is our take profit 1, minus 27 is take profit 2, and minus 61.8 would be take profit 3. So operating within a small range, but have another look at it. If it comes back up to 1.53500, and you might get another entry there. So we could put a trend line on. I've done that wrong. Sorry. Fingers and thumbs today. Just pull that down. We could come back and do a bit of analysis on that if it comes right back up. Let me just add alert. You'll only get the alert on the paid version, but there is a call app, I think, which is free on your mobile phone to set alerts. It is good to trade with alerts, then you're not driving yourself crazy, staring at the charts all the time. So that's Euro CAD. And let's pull up that Euro GBP one on here. So this was the this was the scan that we were talking about, whether the D point had moved, because when it drew on the scanner, it was at the top of that blue one, and I've pulled it up to there, but we're not quite sure whether that's the right thing to do or not. So we were going to ask on one of the live trader sessions. His name's Chance Gonan, his wife Samantha, who created this strategy. And if it is correct, then the scan on this one is 130 pips. So you've got about 35 pips per leg. And we'll come down to the 1 minute and see what it's doing. But as I say, I don't think my pitchfork is wrong. I think it has redrawn, but who am I to say for sure compared to chance? So what is this actually telling us at the moment? I've set the alert down here at this pitchfork and quarter theory, so that I want to be looking at it at this level around 0.89500. So it is a downward scan, and if it comes down, which it looks like it is doing, then that could be a very good entry here. Except this is not a New York session pair, and it is a slower moving pair. So that's next level down would be 35 pips. So you've got the orange, the 1 minute trend has crossed over in London session. It's done that big break and retest of that pitchfork and again there, and now it's working its way down here, and it's only 9 or 10 pips away. So we'll have a look at that when that alert goes off. If you believe in that pitchfork, that is. GCAD fast pair. See what's happening there. So I put my alerts on sort of early hours of this morning or after market open. I was looking at things. So that stalled out all the way through Tokyo, and this is a fast pair. It just sucked along all the way across the 62 EMA and quarter theory, faked out. There's your pre-London breakout to the opposite side, then moved up nearly 100 pips in total, and now it's over here. So the orange has crossed above the blue, and it's above quarter theory, and it's above the 62. So I've got the alerts, which I'd set, as you can see, I'd set it late last night anyway. So it's I've got the alert set for that next level up. But I think with this one, it was quite a big scan. You've got 93 pips between this pitchfork leg, which means this is exception to the rule when it's over 60 pips that we do say to ourselves we can take a quarter theory trade. So that's up to you. If price pulls back to 1.71000, then you could be, and stays above that 62, then you could be looking at that for a buy. If we try and put a fib on, I don't know if that will have pulled back enough for it to register as a fib. No, it's only back at the 50% taken off that level there. So the fib doesn't work because you want, in this instance, you want other confirmations, because we'd be looking for at least price to pull back to this 61.8 or the 78.6, 88.6 zone down here. So I'll take that off because that's low to high past the present, and then you're looking for that reversal to see how it's going to take off again. That's how fibs work. Magic numbers that work, and if you haven't seen them before, then they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the Elliott wave, and you're looking for those reversal points. But it doesn't really matter. You don't need to understand the technicalities. Each pattern on the harmonic scanner, Gartley bat, butterfly, shark, they all have different Fibonacci percentage reversal points, which is what makes up the pattern. If you want to get into that level of detail, they're in the IM Academy in about series 4. They're about 35-minute long videos by Christopher Terry, and they date back to, they're taken from when he was running his trading room back in about 2015, 2016. They're superb videos. So it doesn't look like it's coming right back to that quarter theory at the moment. So anyway, as I've said, there's plenty to look at. It's a fast moving pair, and I've left my alert there. So That's what I'll be looking at on that one. I'm going to leave that one for a minute. I'll look at NZDUSD. I'm not sure. Some of these I don't have scans on. I did see that there's a new scan on USD CHF, but I think it might have been a Swiss franc, a very small one. It doesn't often throw up a lot of scans. I must have got, where did I see that today? Maybe it was, oh, it's just down here on the 15-minute. And let's just measure that. It's only 36 pips. So I'd like to draw a new one on USD CHF, but that's too small. As I say, I haven't hardly ever see. I think it's because they're slow moving pairs, so you don't see so many scans on them. So I do have a scan on this one. It's in the middle of doing nothing very much at the moment. It's at that big wall of the quarter theory, 50 pips there. So it's crossed over. It's broken and retested the pitchfork. It's on its way up, but you've got this big wall here, and then you've got, what's that, about 20 pips or something, 24 pips up to that pitchfork. So no trade until, I won't put an alert on, no trade and until it's up at this level, if it carries on up there. So that's NZD USD. See what other, AUD CAD is a slow pair. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. I had the alert down there, and obviously it's decided to do something different. So there was a nice entry here, which we've just missed at 2 o'clock. That's a shame. You remove that. So you've got the orange crossing the blue. You've got quarter theory next to your pitchfork. So you've got a nice protection there on your stop loss if we'd got in back here. And I didn't have the alert set in the right place on this instance, which you can't always tell. So that would have been your entry, and it's on its way up now to hang on, let me move this over. On its way up now to 0.93350, and then up to that take profit to at 0.93500. That's Euro CAD going off. And there's extensions of an old pitchfork sitting behind it, which is just up at this zone here as well. So that's quite nice that it's cleared that, but sorry about that, and we missed that one. Euro CAD. So that's come back and hit quarter theory. If you wanted to look at that for a trade. I'm going to remove that fib so we've got a clearer look. So in this instance, I had the pink as the pitchfork. I was watching this one. Had the break and the retest of quarter theory. It's underneath the 62. Now you've had the break and the retest. Well, you don't have to always have a retest of quarter theory. It's not as important as having the break and the retest of the pitchfork. So let me just double check that break and retest. Although it didn't quite, oh, it just shy of the 62 there, 12.9. It didn't quite touch it exactly. And obviously we like things to be ideal. So that, whoops, if I deal with that one there, get rid of that one. And it's just touching the 62 now. It's just gone above quarter theory, so it could be just because it's touching that, testing that. there. So you might want to wait for the half-hour candle close, 30-minute one, to see what's happening there. I can't see a fib that I can see if that tells us anything. I quite like putting a fib on just to see. That's high to low, past to present. And fibs do keep moving, so they're not static, so they do keep reforming. So it's not really a big fib, so it could, I mean, there isn't one, you know, it's not up at the 61.8 or up here, which is where we like it to be. It's just come back to that 50% line. So you might want to wait for it to pull right back and then carry on down. But all the indications there are that it is a downward trade at the moment. It is selling.
Wouldn't can I just ask, Sarah, wouldn't
Yeah.
you, is it possible to draw the fib to that point to the right, the lower point? Yeah, is that too close? Because that is present, isn't it?
Yes, I know we're not meant to draw it on current price, but also if you did draw it there, it wouldn't give you that much of a reversal point, would it? I mean, it's going to be below the 50, I would think. So from that point there,
oh yeah,
to there, oh, it's just on the 50.
But you couldn't do it from the high that you can see, from the same high point to
well,
that.
You can, and you can put fibs within fibs, but this is where I'm not brilliant at fibs. So this is why Chance always says, if you get confused, then just take them off. Sometimes I'm better at them than others. You know, I'm just not as experienced as he is. So I think that is okay to do that. But sometimes I find with fibs, I put them where I want to put them to make up the story I want to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So I'm a bit wary of doing that. And even Chance says he doesn't use them that often. I quite like them because they give you this visual dashboard of the take profit levels. And when they work and you've got them on properly and you see they work, then they're great. So, you know, they're a bit of a mixed bag for me. I have to say, I'm not always entirely confident that I've done the right thing with them. So yes, because the problem with them, if you want to call it a problem, is that once price has moved on, then that fib has been and gone. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
New fibs. So if you put it too far back, then it's not current in terms of it showing you where the reversal point is that you're pinging off. You know, it's history, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I'll take that off for the moment. So that's Euro CAD. And let's just see what the hull says, which is one of our exit strategies, just to see what it says price is doing on the 15-minute, which will be the band in the background. So that does say on the 15-minute that it has turned to red, that it's in the downward trend. And sorry about this glitch. That's, as you know, trading view, when price crosses the quarter theory, it makes it go vertical. So there looks like there is a trade there, except it is an upward scan. I had that back there, which I don't really need anymore. So that's Euro CAD. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And just try and keep some of the windows closed so that it doesn't slow the system down. And we'll look at NZD CAD, Canadian dollar. Not sure. Some of these other ones at the bottom, I'm not sure if I've got scans on. Yeah, I have got one on this, but I did check on my object tree, and I haven't got a scan higher up here. I kept it on because I thought, well, maybe it'll ping it back in. These extensions like Bollinger Bands will ping it back in, but it hasn't. So I can't trade off this unless we put a fib on. But there's no point because there's other things to trade. So I have no scan on anything tradable on NZD CAD. Put nothing down there. And I won't look at that one because that's Asian session pair. CAD JPY. I had the alert up there. So my problem with this one was that I've got quarter theory sat right in the middle of the two pitchforks. That's the extension. So I was waiting for it to come right up there, but we could look at it there. So the orange is crossed above the blue. These two green bands are the outer extensions like Bollinger Bands pinging price back in. That's the theory. So we're looking for this as a buy, potentially from here. But I haven't got quarter theory. That was the other thing I didn't like about this one. I have, my favorite is when I've got quarter theory next to the pitchfork. I can't see a, well, let's try the fib. I don't think that's going to work either. From down here, past the present low to high. And that's only come back to the 50%. So that one, Kathy, I'm more confident of drawing. That's more obvious to me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I feel more comfortable doing that one than I did the previous one.
Mm.
Yeah. Not that that helps us on this one. So nothing on there really. But you could look at it for a buy above 78.750. But it looks like it's tailing off a bit at the moment. But as we know, in my session, New York tends to move between 2 and 4 UK time. So a lot of mine is setting up to see which way price is going to go, and it'll kind of sludging along a bit. And I quite like that sometimes because I can see it looks like it's like going along the line, and then it's going to ping off one way or the other. So sometimes it can work quite well in terms of getting your head around when you've got a good setup. GNEAU. Did we do AU? Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So quite a nice little entry there, which I missed. Didn't hear that ping off. And in fact, I don't think it really did. Or did it do a break and a retest there? It did the 10 there. So it did a break and a retest of 10 there, came down and retested quarter theory, came up above the pitchfork again, above the 62, and of course it's above the quarter theory, so you could have got in there. I'll take that off. I don't know why I missed that one. Maybe I was away from my desk. So that would have been well, that's slightly just about do the stop loss there. That would have been the 20 pips. So it's on its way up, but it's rejected off that outer extension and rejected there. but you wouldn't want to get into that for a sell till it comes below the 62, because at the moment it's still above the 15-minute blue one, so it's still pushing it up, so it could, you know, carry on up here for a while. So there's no trade on that at the moment. And let's try the next one. Nothing on that, nothing on that. USD JPY we haven't looked at. So this is quite good. This was a new scan. That's the hourly, sorry. Come down to the 1 minute. So the orange has crossed above the blue, that's saying buy. It's retested the 15-minute just at the open of New York. It's carrying on up to this pitchfork now. And we have a downward. So it's it hasn't hit it, just shy of the median there for a buy or a sell. So it broke and retested big time right back up there. Just at close of the markets, it faked out up there. It did a big move down in Tokyo. That's quite unusual, I would have thought. Quite a big move. And then London, it's come back up here, but not so much of a move after that big move down. So we're looking at this for a sell if price pulls right back up there. Let's put this on. See if we can cover that quarter theory with our, yeah. And then you'd be looking for it down to the 25, then down to the possibly 45 to 50 down there. Those are the levels you'd be looking at for the scan to play out. So, but the problem for us at the moment is, number one, we want to see how far will it pull back up to that pitchfork again. It's above the 62, so we don't want to be getting into that until it has come down below that, and you see that 62 turning down. So if it falls short of the pitchfork, and of course we've got quarter theory up there, so we don't know if it's going to want to push up to there. I don't think a fib's going to work for us on here. This one, it might be too small, yes, because it takes it right back up to the 100%. Can we move it back up to that one? Can't get it fixed on there. Move it off there. So if we did put it, I've got it to there, but that doesn't look quite right to me.
I was going to say, if you're going to use that high, wouldn't you use the low that's currently down at the 61.8 for your 0 point?
This one down here?
Yeah, that one.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, good point. So that actually is very nice, because that says that's directly to the pip of the 78.6 there, and it's rejected that, you know, once, twice, 3 times. So it's just trying to push back up there. So I'm going to leave that fib on there. And that takes us to that take profit one down at that quarter theory. It's in line with the scan. 1, 2, and then 3, round about these zones here. So that should work out. I'm just going to move that down there. So somewhere around about here. And that's between that 27 and that pitchfork there. So the only problem I've got with this is if it turns down below the 62, can we still have the stop loss above the quarter theory? So you've got it above the quarter theory and the pitchfork. We've got the two barriers, which hopefully will get us to a good position of not having us taken out should it fake above. So it's still pushing up a bit at the moment. And if you had to move that down, you've got to have a bit of a bigger stop loss to cover you on that quarter theory. So I'll put let's see what happens if it comes up there. And USJPY is, I'm looking at the speed. Got it as a 6. So it's not too wild. And what does our hull tell us? Probably still going to be green on the 15-minute, I suppose, at the moment. So it's just turned to green. So that's definitely not good for looking at a sell. So that needs some more time. And what else have we got that we can look at? I'll have a look at, had a look at GCAD, haven't I? I haven't got any alerts going off at the moment, so if there's, oh, GBP USD, see where this one is. I know I had this marked up. Let me just see if I can close. I wanted to close some of these. That's Euro USD has gone all the way down here again. I was looking at it above. There's the pitchforks up there actually, but I thought it had rejected off that 78.6, but it wicked through down there. So it's now decided it's kind of ranging because it crossed down, then it crossed above, and now it's crossed down again. So it's kind of a bit, doesn't know really what it wants to do. I'll clear this up. So I had the fib from there to there, and I think it's moved on from there. I'll take those off. Let's have another look at it. Because this was a new scan, I think, from there, from the 12th of June. And it isn't actually a very fast pair, is it? Euro USD is a 5. with a small spread, and it usually trends very nicely, but I don't think it's doing much for us today. So it's not, it's playing between quarter theory. It tried to push up there, it's rejected off that pitchfork, come down to quarter theory, come down, there's an old pitchfork there, and it's now hitting that quarter theory again, coming up. So it just can't make up its mind, but surely it's got to come up sometime or other, because it just seems, if we put a trend line on, seems to be very slow. So that's gonna, if it sticks to that, is that an hourly one?
That's quite a big scan, isn't it, Sarah?
Is it? Seems to be taking ages to do anything.
It's more than 60 between the pitchforks.
Interesting. Okay. Let's have a look. Yes. So in that case, technically, that means that we can take a trade at quarter theory as well. That's what Kathy means by that, because otherwise you're going to be left for so long, you know, you just can't do any trading. So Chance teaches us that we can take what he calls a quarter theory trade. So if it stalls and then breaks and then, you know, carries on up, you can be taking a long position off that. So what you've got here is it's kind of sandwiched now between quarter theory and the pitchfork. It's been playing there for 3 or 4 hours. So you can see it's up, down, fails to break it again. So it just cannot get itself above that pitchfork at the moment. And then the gap widens there, and it's just rangy. It's just sucking along the 62 at the moment. It's just edging above quarter theory. So it just doesn't know what it wants to do at the moment. So if we put a long position back on it at the pitchfork, then you'd have far too big a stop loss now to cover quarter theory. So not really a good one, I don't think, to be trading until it starts to get itself right up to this sort of area here, unless there's some news that makes it take off. And then you can be back at your usual level there, but I don't know what it's going to do now, because that's going to come into the end of play today. So Euro USD is not doing a lot for us today, I don't think. Has anyone found any trades this morning? Anything working out for? Sorry, I'm just to look at that one. GU, that was EU, EUSD, EURF USD. And let me see if I can shut some of these down. We've got alerts on some of them, so we can just carry on talking till they go off. Let's close a few of them down. So this is GU. Price has pinged back into the extensions. The orange has crossed the blue, so it's buying. It's just coming up to quarter theory. I put my marker up here because I like to look at things when it's quarter theory and the pitchfork. But we'll see if we can cover, because you wouldn't want to get into this till it's above quarter theory. It's like facing you like a brick wall. So the problem with this is you're going to have too big a stop loss to cover your pitchfork to get in on that one. So there's no trade for me on that one anyway, unless it doesn't move until it's further over here, so that you can make your stop loss a bit more reasonable, and even then it's not, it's there's no trade at the moment. GU have a 15 on it as it's GU, so you know that's all the way over there, which is why I've put this up here, and then you've got quarter theory there. So nothing playing for me on GU at the moment that I can see. Oh, I'll just measure the gap while we're talking about it. Mind the gap. Well, again, that is a big one as well. That's 77. So that means you can take that quarter theory. You can take that quarter theory trade. But as I say, it puts me off when I haven't got any barrier between me and being taken out on the stop loss. I like one of these nice pitchforks or quarter theory to hold the price in for you. So nothing on GU at all. Okay, we'll have to look at some of the others then. Did we look at EN? No. Euro NZD, which is a fast moving pair. You do need a 15 pip on stop loss on this one. So the orange says it's selling. I've got the alert down here because you've got quarter theory and the pitchfork. So coming up for a nice sell when it comes to this level here. Let me just look and see where the scan was, just to show you. It'll come up. I'll put it on the 15-minute. So this was a scan with the D point from the 11th of June. So it made it down. It's made it down to the median. It is a fast moving pair. It's come all the way up to quarter theory there. And now it's crossing down again. So when you're looking at it for a sell, keep an eye on the previous low, which will be that level there at 1.74137, because you want to see if it's going to break that down to that 1.74000, or whether it's going to reject. And there it is again, back there, that same level. So let's have a look at the setup on this one. I quite like the look of this one. So 15 pips to cover us on the quarter theory. And then you'll be looking for it down. That's 40 pips down to 1.74000. And take profit down to that zone, 85 to 90 pips at the next pitchfork and quarter theory, 1.73500. So this looks like quite a nice one, because we're always looking to stretch our trades. So if I show you the brush, so we want that to carry on down like that, and then we're looking for that 10 pip break and retest down to there. See if I've measured that right. Made that too big. So now I've made it too small. Is that about 10 pips? Oh, goodness sake. Should be about right. So we've got, oh, now I've made it too big again. Goodness sake, I'll do it once more. Right, so down at about, you want to break and a retest back to that pitchfork, 1.74335, wait for price to come back. It's a mistake I've learned the hard way in the past, being too impatient and just getting in on the down, and sure enough it's come and drawn back. So let price come to you, let the trade come to you. So once it's done that, don't get in at quarter theory, because it's it could just reject off this pitchfork. There's no saying it is going to do that. It could do this instead. Could come down and just reject off again. Okay. So you want to wait for it to clear that pitchfork. And just before we go, I'll better check the chat. And I'll just see if I can draw a trend line on it. We know it's a downward scan, but let's have a look at our trend line, which will be let's take that magnet off. At least 3 touches to get a trend line. See if we can put that one on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got about 7 touches there. So that should help you keep your eye in. You want to see price below that 62, clear the quarter theory, and then get in after the break and retest. The entry would be 1.74395. Okay, down to 1.74198, 195, and then down to 1.74000. Okay.
I don't know why I haven't got that scan. You know what I think I do? Occasionally I do a right click and clear drawings to get rid of trend lines and things. And it obviously gets rid of the scans as well, doesn't it? And I usually remember and undo it. But I think on EN I've deleted all the scans off.
What, off your trading view?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a big pair as well, isn't it? It's a fast moving pair.
Yes, it should be in the group, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I'll go back. Yeah.
It's 326, so you can take a screenshot of that.
Yeah, I have done. Yeah, but like you say, they should be in the group, so I'll have to go back in the group and put them all back on.
Yeah, I've done that before, deleted things, and it's just heart-wrenching. So here's the alert going off on USD JPY. We're on the hour. Remember, it's a fake out, and then it will want to drop, but wait for it to get below that 62. So that's all for today. I'll just stop the share and have I don't want to hold up the next session. Have a very quick look at the chat. Brian, free version allows for 1 alert. John, are the members on here who are saving multiple scans all on the premium? Is it possible to save enough scans on the lower pro? You can save as many as you like, can't you, Brian? It's just to do with the alerts.
That's correct. I answered him a couple of lines down.
Oh, thank you. The only difference, thank you very much, is indicators per chart. Yeah, I think it's 3, is it, on the free one?
Correct.
And don't you have limits on the number of charts you can save? Oh, thanks so much. The limits on the number of different chart layouts. You can have as many pairs as you want in a single chart layout as you want. What do you mean by different chart layouts?
Well, what you have is you have a separate TradingView chart layout for each pair.
Yeah.
Right. Either TradingView has made a change since you first started doing your charts.
No, I did mine wrong at the beginning. I know that now, but I've got too many scans historically to change.
Right. So
the watch list on the right.
I've got mine set up more like Chance does. I have one chart layout for the harmonic pitchforks where I have a watch list of all the pairs in there. And then it saves it. So I'm gonna get with John after this and show him my setup.
Oh, okay. Can you record that so I can have a look at that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Brian, otherwise you're going to have loads of people like me asking you the same thing.
Well, I was on a Zoom with Julie explaining the same thing yesterday.
I know, because I remember Julie asking me and other people, and I said, don't follow me because I did mine wrong at the beginning and now I'm stuck with it. Or
if you want to give me like 3 minutes right now, I can show my screen and explain it to everybody.
Well, yes, if you don't mind. I just didn't want to hold up the next session. So if people want to get off onto Sharon's, we won't think you rude. We're just going to finish off on this. You know, that's great. Thanks, Brian. I'll just make you co-host then. Brian, make co-host. Okay.
Alrighty, so you should be seeing my trading view screen here. So all I've done on mine is under my layout is I have a generic template for if I want to test anything. I made one for the 25 to life strategy, one for the BYOB strategy, and one for the harmonic pitchfork strategy. So I'm in that strategy or in that chart layout now. And what it allows you to do is I have the same watch list of pairs for all my charts. So what you can do here is under this one layout, and the way TradingView works is it attaches all of your indicators and any drawings or any markups that you make up on any given pair. It attaches it to the chart layout. So that way you don't have to have a layout for every individual pair. So as Sarah explained, she did it differently. So she's kind of stuck because it would be a massive job for her to transfer it all into a single layout. So this is how I have mine set up. So if I, for example, to show you that, so for example, if I did this for Julie yesterday, we were playing around with this one. If I draw, just say a basic trend line on say ACAD and save it, to demonstrate the point, if I now just load a different chart layout, oh, wrong way. If I load one of my existing chart layouts or create a new one, and if I click on ACAD, you can see that that trend line is not there that I just drew. And it also, you know, keeps your different chart settings. So on this one, I have the grids on, and on the harmonic scan one, I don't have the grid lines on for the sake of sanity. But that's pretty much the difference of putting all of your pairs under one particular layout, which is what TradingView allows you to do. It makes things a little easier. And if you've watched any of Chance's sessions where he color codes his pairs that he's looking at blue, it allows you to then create a separate watch list for your pairs. So you can have, like, I can bring up all the ones that I've ticked purple, which in my case is all the pairs that have a harmonic scan on it, since I'm only new to this strategy for about 3 weeks now. So that's pretty much how I set mine up. It really, it's just a matter of efficiencies and setting it up.
So if I had created a template called pitchforks and put the indicators on, then
right, and then you could
color
have
code on the sessions pairs at the side. Then you click on that and it brings it up over that template. But how do you get all the scans on it?
Well, the scans are saved for each pair to the chart layout.
Oh, okay. So you click on your chart layout, and then the scans, the way you open up the pair, create the new scan, and it's saved on that template for that pair.
Correct.
Ah, it was as simple as that, you see, and I never got it right at the beginning, and then I was stuck with what I've got.
Right. Yeah. So when I initially started, I started doing it the way that you did it, and then I saw Chance do it differently, and I'm going like,
I know exactly, but I couldn't. I asked him the question in the chat, and I couldn't either. He couldn't understand me, or I couldn't understand his answer at the time.
Yeah. So what I did is I asked, I sent a message to the support for TradingView to ask if you could merge them all into a single layout, and it says you can't do that, but they explained what I just explained with regards to the chart layout, or like any markups you put on a pair in a given chart layout is saved to the layout for that pair. So I just bit the bullet and went and redid the 10 that I had to do, and I'm just going to stay with it this way. But in your case, you've got like you've got 2 years worth, so it's not feasible for you to do that.
But what I'm wondering is whether it's no point in starting again from now, is there? Not
right,
really.
because you're trading off on some pairs, some scans that are 30, 60, 100 days old, right?
Yeah. It's a shame because I'd love to be able to click through as fast as he does. I just can't. But then maybe anyway, it is as it is. So
you just have to double up for about a year or something, wouldn't you, Sarah?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? You see, I do wonder whether I should do that, because all I've got to do is create a new template, create another watch list, because he has 2 watch lists, one for his TV and one for his own, doesn't he? He has one for training and one for his own, and then each time I draw a new one, draw it twice, one on my old one and one on my new one.
Yeah, that's the only way you could do it to get to keep up to eventually get up to date, and then but you do have some scans that must be over a year old now, so
yeah. Well,
that may cause you some degree of confusion as to which chart layout you're going to work on.
I was just thinking that. I'm not sure I need any more things going on in my head when I'm trading, so I'll just have to stay with what I've got, I think.
Yeah, so you may want to mention periodically that the way you do it is not necessarily the best way to do it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Or the easiest.
Yeah.
And then maybe what we can do is I will go through and make a separate video, and then we can post it in your group over there.
That would be great.
How to set it up.
How to set up your charts for this. Yeah, that would be helpful, because I've had more than one person ask me over the months, Brian.
Okay, I will do that this week, and I will send that in.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant, Brian. Thanks very much.
All right.
Okay, thanks for joining, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. So we've got a couple of things to watch, haven't we? We've got EN we've just been looking at, and then the alert's just gone off on US JPY. Yeah, both for sales. Okay then. Bye for now.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.
great, thank you.